FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome everyone to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. This episode, we got Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. The current dynasty, if you will. They've been to the last 3 Super Bowls. We'll see how this one goes. We don't have Jayden Daniels, but Marcus Mariota runs the offense pretty well. So let's see what happens. We have our preview over here where we talk about our offense against their defense, their offense against our defense. We have our predictions in the comment mailbag, as we always do. Before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and comment as you always do. And K-Dot.
Share this shit. Share it. Share it. Share it.
Share this shit. We greatly appreciate you guys. That was something. K-Dot did tell me he was just going to be a little, off the wall.
I am punch drunk and I got smart bulbs.
Let's go ahead and get into it. So the Washington Commanders, now 3-4, take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who look like they're starting to hit their stride. Yep. And so, as we always do to provide the context for this game, we go into the injury report.
Thanks, Commanders PR.
Yeah, seriously. Wash PR, get your shit together. All right, we had to scour the internet for this. And so we begin with our side of the injury report. You can see Cosme not practicing with the back. It was nice to see him back in the last game. I assume he'll be okay, but we'll see. It's only been 1 day of practice. Jayden already been ruled out once again. So no Jayden Daniels on Monday Night Football. Zach Ertz, it's a rest day. Jonathan Jones personal, and a bunch of rest, basically. Those guys should be fine and good to go. The big names there, Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, full participants in practice. So we do get wide receiver 1A and 1B back, the way it's been defined so far. Yeah. And let's go ahead and look at the Kansas City Chiefs, who are largely healthy. The Josh Simmons thing, if you guys have not been following, has been interesting. He seems to be fine, which is important. He's just been away from the team. It doesn't seem like he's suddenly going to be back for Monday night, so he's not going to play in this game. Kareem Hunt, not practicing with the ankle knee. Based on what I'm reading, seems like he should be okay. And Trey Smith, uncertain. He left the game against the Las Vegas Raiders, and then Mike Caliendo filled in quite admirably for him. I would anticipate Mike Caliendo plays this game, but maybe Trey does as well. The rest of the Chiefs are very healthy. This is a largely healthy team, K-Dot. And so with that, why don't we go ahead and talk about our offense, which has Marcus Mariota at the helm, against this Kansas City Chiefs defense. So K-Dot, on this side of the ball, right? No Jayden Daniels, but we like what we've seen from Marcus Mariota in spots here. What are you looking to exploit, and what are you worried about?
I'm not going to go as far as exploiting anything. Whether or not I think we can manage to scrounge together some offense, possibly. Look, we're talking about a Steve Spagnuolo defense, and I that's a guy I've got the utmost respect for, as far as like the way you guys talk about like Lou Anarumo and all that. I'm a Spags guy. Okay. They just play sound defense. Like it's not, they show a lot of cover one, but it ain't cover one. They like to trick you into doing shit that you don't want to do. They're very good. They're just smart. They know exactly where to be at as far as any of the rush lanes go. It's one of the things that if you're going to have success, it's just, you got to kind of keep at it and hopefully you can just outperform them. I don't think you're going to out clever them. Maybe Cliff gets in his bag this game, but I mean, I do think you do have some room as far as the way that they play defense to exploit some things as far as some of the zone coverage, like to hit some stuff fast. I think the RPO stuff could get some good looks, and we know Mariota's really good at that. As far as I I mean, I'm on the record of saying I do think that Mariota executes the RPO better than Jayden does most of the time, as far as making the right read, and as far as, like, especially the runs off the RPO always look a little better when it comes to Marcus Mariota, at least early on in that success rate. Yeah, man. On the line, like, they got Karlaftis, they've got Chris Jones. What are you going to do as far as those two guys go? All the stats as far as Laremy Tunsil goes going into the season, or so far this season, have been phenomenal, right? So the idea is that where Karlaftis usually lines up is going to be against Laremy Tunsil. And if Tunsil can just take care of that assignment without any help, just take care of Karlaftis, it allows us to open up a lot of opportunities to do some other things against that defensive line. The other name, that probably the most important name on that defensive line, being Chris Jones. And I know people have looked on Twitter, and there have been, every once in a while, there's a play that might go viral of him doing this or him doing that. I don't give a shit. Dude is a baller.
All pro.
Dangerous, okay? He's dangerous. So the idea would be they're going to line him up all over the place just to figure out where the mismatches are. If Cosme can go, and he looked pretty decent as far as press for last week. The main thing would be our rook Connerly against a guy like Chris Jones. And if I'm looking at it straight up, it's been a few weeks since Connerly. You remember that murderer's row that he had early on? Yeah. Yeah, this is back. This is a problem. This is a big boy. It might be out on the outside. So, like, what does that do as far as what is Cliff kind of scheming up? What kind of chips and stuff can we use over there? And then beyond that, can we use the chips to exploit some other stuff that I'm hoping that we can do as far as some of the tight ends getting involved in passing game, things like that? I mean, I think the big thing for everybody is Deebo and Terry coming back and what options that'll allow for Mariota. But I'll tell you this. I don't, even if they do play, what am I expecting of Terry and Deebo, right? Deebo hasn't been healthy. He hasn't looked healthy. I don't know if he's going to look majorly healthy this week. And Terry hasn't played for a while, coming off of the injury that didn't have him looking like himself or trusting things. So, even if they do play, I understand something from a gravity standpoint. Like, maybe you get some of these younger guys to step up and maybe exploit some stuff because they're focused on taking care of Deebo or taking care of Terry. But, I do feel as though just because of Mariota's proficiency and I don't think he gets tricked by Spagnuolo in that defense. I think we can move the football, but you got to execute. You can't do any of the mistakes. You cannot turn the ball over. You cannot have any of the penalties. You got to stay above borders and ahead of the sticks. You got to stick with the rushing attack and not getting those passing. You got getting those situations because you shoot yourself in the foot early on that you get away from it. You got to play a balanced attack on offense. You got to try to dictate to these guys. And it's like, I got confidence in some way that Mariota's going to be able to move the football and he won't make the mistakes, but it's still a tall ass task.
It's a enormous task. And I think it's important for people to understand, right? So you're all obviously dire Commanders fans, and we appreciate you joining us for this episode. And when you think of the Kansas City Chiefs, you think of Patrick Mahomes. You think of Andy Reid. You think of Travis Kelce, right? These are the guys that you're thinking of. Taylor Swift. And yeah, the one girl you're thinking of. Now, this defense is very unheralded for that reason, because you're thinking about the offense a whole lot. These guys are just solid across the board. So I'm going to read some names to you, which you've heard before, but you need to understand just how good they are, right? So Nick Bolton, for example, is an excellent linebacker, 25 years old. He leads the team in tackles right now, 29 solo, 55 combined, 4 tackles for loss. He's doing what we would sort of hope a Frankie Louvu would do right now, right? Nick Bolton can do that. Then you've got Chris Jones, like K-Dot had mentioned, who is an all-pro defensive tackle. And when he needs to make the play, he makes the play. That's what helps sort of build a dynasty and a bit of aura around the Kansas City Chiefs. Drew Tranquill is a leader on that defense who also is able to roam around and be where he needs to be. George Karlaftis, you had mentioned, K-Dot. He's already got 12 quarterback hits, 3.5 sacks on the season, so he's able to get there. Charles Omenihu is another good one. Leo Chanel. I didn't even mention Trent McDuffie yet, who's one of the more underrated corners in the league, who is excellent for them. So just wanted to give you some names to be like, hey, just because you've heard Chris Jones, doesn't mean they're not other guys that are producing at a high level. It's a good secondary. They're third in the NFL in scoring defense right now. They're fifth in the NFL in total yards allowed per game. And here's what they've done in their home games, because there is a difference between their home and road. At home, they lost to the Eagles 20-17. Okay. They allowed 216 yards of offense. That was Mahomes and company not doing their job. Defense was good there. Then the Ravens, 37-20 win. Once again, 20 points allowed. That's pretty good in the modern NFL, right? 20 points allowed. That one was 360, but it was a blowout. There was garbage time. That's where the Ravens got their yards. And then they got the Detroit Lions at home. They only allow 17 points against the Detroit Lions and under 300 yards of total offense. And then the Raiders, they blanked, but it's the Raiders, so whatever. But it was 31-0, right? They have not allowed more than 20 points at home yet. And they've had 4 games at home against some good teams. So just that's your high level. It's important to know, because that's your high level. Hey, we're going to talk about Mahomes. We will. But this is what they do at home. It's hard to play at Arrowhead, and there's a reason we're 1-10 all time over there, basically. So just wanted to point that out, K-Dot. Now, on to Mariota. What can we do? What inspires hope here? Terry and Deebo being back is very important. Are they going to be 100%? Deebo says he is. If you listen to what he's been talking about with reporters, he says his heel feels totally fine now. Terry looks good in practice. Looks like he's going full speed. It's not just like a full participant. He's jogging. He's going full speed. So that's encouraging. It's going to be hard to run on these guys, but I do trust Marcus to be able to ball control, to be able to make the right choices, and to be able to produce maybe that 20-point mark, for example. But then it comes down to our defense, which we'll get to in just a moment. But it's not impossible to win this game. We'll get to the point spread and stuff like that, but it's a tall task, even if Jayden was playing, is my point, right? Because of how good this defense is. I really wanted to just hammer home that point, K-Dot.
No, I think it's extremely important to cover. Arrowhead's the thing, and trust me, I'm not looking forward to when Commanders fans hear them do the old tomahawk shit to hear about the old name again. No, that's coming. But the point of that stadium is that it's going to, you're talking about a Monday Night Football game. These guys are going to be feeling it. And if you could do any sort of scripting it up, silent count stuff early on, hand signals as far as anything from motion or what have you, this is the time to pull all those, pull all that out. Look, overall, like if I'm looking at like what it is compared to like what I saw last week and then what it is that's happening this week, downhill running, duo stuff inside. Look, if you get 4 yards on a rush, that's a win. Take it. Like, that's a good thing. 4 yard. Do not get bored of it. Do not feel as though you're not moving the ball properly. You do that. They're going to play a lot of man. What you do as far as that, a lot of times the best that I've seen us do against man, especially when they show that cover one, is a lot of stacking. You do bunch or stacks to get kind of like Terry and Deebo kind of moving out and they're not sure exactly what to do, and have some sort of option or something short for Mariota to get rid of the football. The moment the Spagnuolo starts dialing up that blitz, please, can we get some tight end screens in this bitch? I really appreciate some tight end screens in this moment. And some of these outside stuff, like some out things towards the boundary. But Mariota, man, they're going to bait the fuck out of you. They're going to bait you, and they're going to bait Cliff into fucking it up. That's what they're going to do. They're going to play some out. They're going to show you some weird shit, and they're going to bait you into throwing that football somewhere you shouldn't throw it, or holding on to the football when you shouldn't hold on to it. Do not fall for the bait.
You can't, because here's the thing. If you turn the ball over even once, and once again, we'll get to our defense, but if you turn it over even once, like K-Dot just sort of whispered there, it's over. This game is over. You need to be damn near perfect on offense, because you need to support a struggling defense that Joe Witt has talked about. Man, I keep alluding to it. Any other thoughts here, K-Dot, before we move to the defense?
If there were 2 mantras I'd say in this game, it would be yak over hero ball.
Mm-hmm.
And use your legs, Mariota.
My key here is run the ball. It's run the ball. 3 yards is fine. And you want to get into 3rd and 4. So let's say it's 3 yards, 3 yards, 3rd and 4. Can you convert? That's the game.
Like
that is the game, right?
That's it.
And use Deebo, right? Like, see what you can do. Yes.
You can see them running and getting 2.5 yards, and then Cliff's like, all right, we're gonna throw this bitch. And then you're in 3rd and long and the drive's out and the series is over.
Well, this is where we need to see Cliff needs to have his best game, right? It's Marcus. Like, what are we going to do? Get creative. Don't just go, oh, we got 5. It'll work. Like, what are we doing in response to the adversity? Very curious to see. Also, a quick note on the snap counts, because we keep going, when's the Luke McCaffrey game? He was 3rd in snaps amongst the wide receivers. It was Chris Moore. Robbie Chosen was right there with Luke McCaffrey. And then it was Jalen Lane, who is actually in 2nd. Okay, so it's just, that's a quick peek into what the coaching staff is thinking.
Yeah,
right?
Just wanted to not playing at all once Deebo and
let's go ahead and talk about the defense, right? Because this is the main point, not just for this game, but the long-term outlook of this team as well. It needs to improve. And Joe Witt, before we get to Mahomes and everybody, Joe Witt has mentioned, hey, we need to be better, obviously. And he's going to be back in the lab doing his thing. And Dan Quinn has also said, hey, we're looking to pare down and simplify the defense so that we get people doing exactly what we were talking about, K-Dot, not thinking out there, playing faster. So they're attempting to simplify things defensively. Also curious to see who's playing, who isn't. Is Bobby playing all the snaps? You know, all that kind of stuff. Kansas City on offense. Patrick Mahomes, currently the top MVP candidate. He seems to be all the way back. Speaking of back, Rashee Rice came back last week. His number 1 wide receiver, 7 catches, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns on 10 targets on 33 snaps. 1 in every 3 plays, he's getting the ball that he's on the field. And that's them ramping him up. That was 40% of snaps. Okay. And then, of course, you have their rushing attack, which is typically good, and Travis Kelce over the middle. K-Dot, this side of the ball, what are you looking to see is the question, not exploit. We know what can be exploited. What are you looking to see?
I'm trying to see how well our Commanders defense prayed to whatever gods it is they pray to, and whether or not they're going to get straightly embarrassed or not. I think Dallas's offense had more challenges in this one, honestly. Like, as far as when we're talking about schematically. Yeah, they got some dudes that are absolutely terrifying in what it is they want to do on offense. They do a lot of the RPO stuff. Mahomes has actually run the football now compared to where it is he has in the past in his career, which has always been an element that I'm like, once they introduce that shit, he's just going to be unstoppable. You add that plus Rashee Rice come back. I feel stupid about my AFC West predictions. I mean, that's
Chargers won last night.
Yeah, outside of Vegas, it's not terrible. And I still had the Chiefs going to the playoffs, so whatever. Look, early on, they want to do some RPO stuff. They're gonna open it up horizontally. In this particular, but that's one look that they have. There's another aspect of this, which is that they're gonna test this as far as around the football. I could totally see this as one of those games that they're gonna try to bloody us up with Isaiah Pacheco or somebody else to just see where it is that our heart is when it comes to this game. And if you allow that to happen, then it's over. If they start running the football on us at a high clip, it's done. Right? Because we're talking about they're beating us without the only element that you really need to care about, which is the Mahomes factor. Anything they do offense, like what they do, their receivers, I'm not afraid of their receivers anywhere near the same lines, though I'm afraid of, like I said, Dallas's offense, right? This is not a George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson sort of thing. This is Travis Kelce being one of the smartest motherfuckers in the room, but not even just the smartest dude in the room. It's being the most football savvy guy with a kismet connection with his quarterback. Where they're special is when the shit breaks down. When they're special is when they're out there playing Thanksgiving backyard football. Like, that's what they do. Like, that's Mahomes is just off schedule. He's going to murder you. Like, that's what they do. Like, they got burners. Hollywood Brown, burner. Xavier Worthy, burner. Do they run crisp routes? No, but they can beat your ass with speed. And if you don't play sound defense and you're what's scary to me is the more and more I say this, the more and more I'm realizing the unit we have to lean on in this game is our corners. And, that's a problem, especially because, like, we've heard Dan Quinn talk about it this week in the sense of he wants to dumb it down, right? They're trying to dumb down the defense, basically. And that's something that, like, we've been alluding to in the All-22s is that, like, hey, I like the defense. It's just they don't execute any of it because they don't do with it. So part of me thinks that dumbing down the defense for this particular type of game, if they're not thinking as much, then instinctually that should put you in an advantage compared to other things that we've seen this year, right? Like, especially if you're looking at Kansas City and what they do well, a lot of it's going to be some backyard football instinctual shit. Like, you got to stay with your man. stay what you do. Do not let him go. Like, but in that same token, do I see Mike Sanderstill or Marshawn Lattimore getting beat and then trying to make up for it so there's a PI? Yeah, I can see that. Is there somebody took the wrong angle and is now bumped into somebody else or fallen, tripped, and now Hollywood Brown's running untouched into the end zone? Yeah, I can see that. Do I see them not getting what it is they need to do as far as the seam carries or the chip, in the sense of if they got Travis Kelce out there, can I see him blowing by Bobby Wagner because he stayed down near the line of scrimmage? Now Kelsey's old slow ass is running 50 yards down the field. Yeah, I can see all those things. If they don't play sound defense, it's fucking done. Like, that's the whole thing with this, is that, like, I don't think from a scheme standpoint, Joe Witt or anything, they got to do anything clever on this. It's just don't let them beat you up, I guess. I don't fucking know, man. Like, Dorance Armstrong's not even playing. Like, what are you going to do?
That's where I want to go with this, which is short term, long term. What is the plan for rushing the passer?
Luvu?
Maybe. So I want to see what Joe Witt and Dan Quinn have come up with, right? So we know Kinlaw, Payne are typically in the middle. Does Payne push to the outside like we've done sometimes in the past in that nice little win streak we had at the tail end of last season? And Johnny Newton inside and Eddie Goldman inside, or is it somebody else on the outside? So I'm just, from a pure observation standpoint, I'm curious to see what we try, right? With that, because you need to be able to get to Mahomes, who's already difficult to get to. He's been sacked only 11 times through the 7 games so far, so it's less than 2 a game. There is an opportunity with, let's assume Trey Smith is out, and Josh Simmons looks like he's definitely going to be out. It's going to be 2 backup linemen who are doing well, by the way, Mike Caliendo and Jalen Moore. They're doing well, but it is still 2 backup offensive linemen. So can you get to him? Because then you do get into those corners and the secondary. And that is where, like, we absolutely need to have a solution. When you are dumbing down the defense, that makes me think bend, don't break. And so this is a Kansas City offense that's very good, that's very prolific, but they're conservative. So if you get them into 4th and 2, they will actually kick a field goal. Yeah. So that does present an opportunity to stay in the game longer than you normally would, because you are playing a slightly more conservative coaching staff, because they know their defense is good, like we talked about, and they know that their offense will ultimately get their touchdowns like they typically do. Talking about those same home games at Arrowhead one more time, right? I think it's important that you guys also know this. Against the Eagles, they only scored the 17 points. But then against Baltimore, 37, Detroit, 30, Vegas, 31. They've hit 30 or more points in 3 of the 4 games. Okay. And then you combine that with 20 or fewer allowed typically, and you can understand why. K-Dot, do you have any other thoughts here? Should we move to the prediction?
I got more shit. Just
Go.
In this, all right, look, so if you're looking at defensively, like what the game plan should be and what it is we can maybe do. All right. You got to simplify their RPO bullshit. How do you do that? It's usually going to be playing man. Do you trust this defensive man?
No.
Got it. Cool. You also have to commit probably one person as a spy to Patrick Mahomes to make sure he doesn't get burnt, that he doesn't take off on you. But the thing with that, you have to commit a person to doing additional coverage and to just basically be a Mahomes babysitter. And then you also got to make sure that dude doesn't over pursue or do something stupid as far as like getting to the spot before he needs to. Do you trust anybody right now on the defense to do that?
No.
Got it. On 3rd down, you need to protect the middle of the field. Like this is their money down for like Kelce to convert, or now with Rice being back, Rice to convert. Who do you trust in that coverage in the middle of the field?
No one.
Got it. Also, you have to tackle. Pacheco and these other guys will make you miss badly. They'll run through your shit. Who do you trust a lot of the tackling? Has it been surefire thing in this game?
I trust Deron Payne. That's about it.
All right, cool. I don't think he's gonna get a lot of looks on the outside.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tall task, brother. Like it's And then you got, I did have some stats about Dorance Armstrong. Dorance Armstrong, 25 pressures, 9 more than any other commander. With him, the pressure rate's 41.2%, would rank 3rd in the NFL. Without him, it's 36%, drops you down to 12. I think they got, like, this is going to be one of these games where they got to do some different shit. Like, this is your try some shit game, okay? I don't think anybody really has this, but I mean, you see what Vegas thinks. Nobody gives a shit. Like, it's one of these games where, like, it's not that you don't care. It's too early in the season. You got to care. You want to win this game. You want to win it badly. Is it completely out of the realm of possibility they can win this game? No. Weird shit happens. NFL primetime shit. Who fucking knows? But on defense, you got to throw some shit at the wall at this point. I would be highly upset if Luvu's not down near the line of scrimmage in this game saying, hey, we know what we've been trying to do with you and learning this and learning that. Hey, Luvu, just go kill the quarterback, okay? Just do that. And if it's some offsides or whatever, look, I'll hate it, but I'm good with it if he finds some success there. If McGee and Madrano or Cahill or whoever the fuck isn't playing at linebacker with Bobby, I'm going to be pissed. I'm not asking them to bench guys. I'm saying we need to start rotating. Man.
Yes.
You got to start rotating these guys. Like, look, I expect some Noah Igbenogany in this game. I expect to see some Jones if he plays in this game. I know it was just a personal thing.
I think he will.
He will. I need some rotations. What they're doing as far as on the outside with Von Miller and Jacob, like, rotate them motherfuckers. Boy, like, we need fresh bodies just kind of thrown at it, and we need guys that are going to play sound football. Because, yeah, man, this would be one of those frustrating. Like I said, I don't think it's one of those situations where unless we just come out flat, unless we just come out not ready to play, I don't see them whooping our ass in that way. I don't think it's like the Dallas game. But sure enough, this could be one of those backbreaking, frustrating things. Because, like, you might do everything right. And then Mahomes and his magic converts a 3rd and 22 to Kelsey, and then you want to cry.
I can't even imagine Kansas City being in a 3rd and 22. That'd be great, though. That'd be great, but that's on the board that they do convert that anyway. Let's go ahead and get to the predictions here, K-Dot, where you see the Commanders 3-4. I misspoke earlier and said the Chiefs were 3-3. They're 4-3 and doing quite well right now. And so the point spread is 11.5 points. I'll let you guess who's favored. And the over-under is 47.5. So, K-Dot, from you, I need a score. I need a winner. I need a player of the game.
So I see us open up the games, quick hits, some RPO stuff. Mariota looks kind of good. Then Spags answers, bringing a blitz on 3rd down. We have to punt more than we probably want to. KC, they're going to lean on the RPO stuff. I think they're probably going to have some success. Maybe we look good at certain parts on the defense, but they would just backbreakers with Kelsey and with Rice throughout the game. 27-20. Chiefs. Player of the game, Travis Kelsey.
Okay. I am going to go with a higher score line for Kansas City. They scored
that's probably safe.
34. And I think we will get to, I'll give it to the offense. We'll get to that 20 mark that they've seemed to cap everybody else at the very top there. 20. Kudos, you get to 21. But 34-20, Kansas City. My player of the game, I won't go with Travis Kelsey in this one. I think there may be a bit of an overemphasis on him, actually, just to be like, okay, let's try and make sure that Mahomes is using other people.
With who? I'm joking.
It's not my job. I'm just, data scientist at podcast here. I'll let them figure that out. But I think that it'll end up being Xavier Worthy. So I think he may end up having a couple big plays, and that's just sort of going to be that. Because I could see us being exploited by that. We're like, oh, we got Rashee Rice. We got to look out for this guy. They have 5 different players that when they target, the passer rating's over 100. And Xavier's not one of them. So I think we maybe focus on those guys, and then Xavier ends up busting a couple. So I go Xavier Worthy, player of the game, 34-20. I'll also say this, though, that I would be very, very surprised. I think a lot of people would be very, very surprised if we won this game. I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if we keep it close. I would be surprised if we win. Just a little bit of hope if you really want to hold on to something. They're at Buffalo next week. We are an NFC team. They just came off a nice win over their AFC West rival in the Raiders. Maybe that's that sandwich game where they go, oh, it's a backup quarterback. There's a subconscious release and just like relaxation there that's a little too much. And you can maybe punch them early. And then it's a game, right? And all of a sudden, maybe you do come away with one because it's very real. It's human nature to overlook an opponent for that at Buffalo game where they have not won in the regular season in a little bit here. Now 1 seed's on the line with Buffalo tripping up. So maybe they're thinking about it. Just a little bit of hope if you really want to hold on to it. You never know.
I'm right there. There is a chance. There's one person, I mean, literally who I would look at as the entire defense and say it's up to you. But I'm actually going to say if we're just going on a storyline, you can walk away or sneak away with one. Look, this has been on the calendar. The NFL wanted, we all wanted Mahomes versus Jayden. Like that's what the thing. Marcus, they're hating, buddy. They're hating, man. Like, come out there and fucking ball. Like, if Mariota goes out there and just starts slinging, like if he can stay away from mistakes and just keep the offense moving, just keep it humming, right? Get the ball to the guys so they can make some plays and do it often. And like, you got a shot at stealing this. Like, you could steal one. You're right. Like I said, Chris Jones a baller. But if I would not be completely surprised if Chris Jones said, Marcus Mariota, man, we got Buffalo next week. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. You've seen teams do it, man. I mean, shit, we've watched enough primetime games this year. This season's been very strange.
Forget prime time. Green Bay came off 2 great games, right? They beat Detroit. They beat us. Everyone's Super Bowl. They lose to Cleveland, right? And they had an extra 3 days. It's just a subconscious letdown of an AFC opponent, not good. And all of a sudden, they've lost the game.
Right.
It can happen.
It can absolutely happen. That's football. But I just want, at the end of this thing, I want a victory or at least us to be able to say that we were in position.
Yeah, completely agreed. I think that, I subscribe to the idea, no moral victories.
Right.
With that being said, it could kind of feel like one if you end up keeping this really close and going, okay, we have the bones of a team that can do something. And now we have some, momentum going into Seattle. That I subscribe to. You can carry momentum.
No, come on. No, that's too much.
That's too much.
When has this team done anything 2 weeks in a row? We can steal.
Well, we just lost twice in a row. We just started doing it.
So we look bad 2 weeks in a row. We look good for maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. The switch will be 2 games.
You got to read on this team. I don't. We're still trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Is there a read on any team in the NFL at this point?
No.
Like, it's a good read. There's no good read.
There's no good read right now.
Indy.
By the way, Indy has. Have you seen that stat? Points per possession.
It's probably insane.
It's 3.46. It's the highest, not in the league this season, not in the last 5 years. K-Dot, you remember the 2007 Patriots team?
I do.
It's 3.18. They're blowing them out. The Colts right now. It's the highest this century. This doesn't make sense. It's Daniel Jones, who again, Vanilla Vic, we know all about him. Playing against the Giants. That guy's
attitude is like totally different now. Apparently, he's a motherfucker. Like he's an asshole now.
I'm
like he's just feeling it. Yeah, let's go. Like
it looks like he's playing Washington every week.
I knew he had it in him. We knew. Washington fans knew.
If you listen to this, we were like, "Oh shit, Daniel Jones," and everyone else was laughing at us. We're like, "No, this guy's good."
Ball.
With that, we go to the comment mailbag featuring an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right, thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. Beginning with a spicy one here from the Nathan Perry. This one is going to inspire some conversation. K-Dot, and shout out Nathan Perry and Ref the District as always. Nathan goes, I am happy that there's still people on Joe Witt's side with me. People need someone to direct their anger toward. I do think Witt needs to take ownership as the leader. I think he is. I think pride is going to be the continued downfall. Give Bobby a ceremonious start, but let him take less snaps than the younger, quicker guys. Trying to prove Lattimore was worth the picks instead of sitting him and doing something different is insanity. We've seen coaching bench the likes of Brandon Coleman, for Chris Paul. Why haven't they done the same for the others? K-Dot, your reaction?
I do agree that there needs to be changes. The problem that I have with it is that, like, it's the same thing kind of offensively at times, even though I think that Cliff's probably more guilty of fucking it up more than Joe is, honestly. But it's like, I find the defense to be fundamentally sound in its ideas or its concept. I just don't find the execution to be there. And, like, I can understand from a coaching perspective and even from a player perspective, when you look at, this is the oldest team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're a vet on this team, the idea that the defensive coordinator is to dumb shit down for you to get it should be offensive. Like, that should be something that, like, the fact that I'm seeing, like, I get it. Nobody's above reproach, but it's like the idea that I'm watching the All-22 and seeing Bobby Wagner fuck it up. And, like, Joe Witt's supposed to, hey, I got to dumb it down for your dumb ass. Like, what? Like, I don't love that. So it's like, I get him trying to say, like, hey, look, I'll put in more of this. I'll do more of that. There is not a single concept that I have not seen this defense fuck up. Not one.
Well, that's not great. You know, and if you've been following the All-22 reviews that K-Dot does and does a masterful job of, you will know that this has been a through line through all of them, which is just that they don't execute defensively. What's the solution? We'll see, but I agree, Nathan. I would love to see younger guys there. I need to see some sort of difference, right? If it ends up just being a more vanilla defense and it's bend, don't break, and K-Dot does the All-22 review and goes, we executed it. Kansas City was just better, for example. Okay, I will live with that because that to me is progress. But I want to see this defense execute what they're supposed to execute. And based on the All-22 review, sounds like it's not been happening. So I hope there is some change and some positive change for this Monday night game. We go to Vindo. Shout out Vindo. OG. Now going to the other side of the ball here, K-Dot. I know this isn't in Cliff Kingsbury's bag, but I wish we could run from under center. I think personnel-wise, switching to under center can also blocking concepts develop more, can allow blocking concepts to develop more, and also allow our running backs to get up to speed laterally. On defense, man, it's hard when you lose your top 3 DNs. Teams are just abusing us in running. This just may not be our year. I don't know. Something about this team, man, they just don't have it. Maybe it's something in the locker room, but they don't give off that they are fighting for something. I'm more patient than most fans and not expecting anything until we got 3 to 4 drafts. The front office, however, I believe will not quit, and Quinn is the guy, and I trust that they can make adjustments over time to make this team younger. We are going to suffer from poor drafts all the way back from 2020. K-Dot, your reaction. Let's start with Cliff, though.
Is just the way I prefer football and the way I prefer offensive football. I am 100%. If we could run from under center, or we could just play from under center, that's what I like. That's what I personally like football wise. The issue is Jayden's skill set and what we have as far as some of these Swiss Army knife guys. You want to allow for some of the motion stuff, and it's a little easier to do in shotgun or at least in pistol. You want the RPO option to exist, and it's easy. It's much easier to see what's happening when you're not under center. Trying to pull off the RPO at its high rate under center is going to be kind of hard to do. My thing with the execution piece is, like, I think, like, if you've heard me and I talk about it just in this episode, if Jayden executes the RPO at a higher clip than he is right now, this offense is deadly. It's deadly. Like, you probably don't feel the same way you do right now in the sense of them running under center. The only thing for me, as far as like the rushing attack goes, is that I do think what we're doing right now lends itself to running from under, to playing from under center to allow the rushing attack to really take hold. But what are you sacrificing, and what is the cap for that? I don't know. Like, I like Bill, but if Bill becomes the focal point of the offense, I don't know how far that gets you.
Yeah. So I like having the option to be able to run under center, especially in like your 3rd and shorts, your 4th and shorts. We typically go, it's obviously, you know, something I wanted, especially after the fumble against Chicago, right? Where you can just turn around, just hand it off, you should be able to get it with the way that Bill is able to see the lanes and be able to just run and get a couple yards. You do sacrifice I want to say identity is just too strong a term here, but like in terms of the pace of offense, the motion that you were talking about, K-Dot, like all that sort of goes away. And I think that makes Cliff uncomfortable because I think he likes being able to put the defense off balance. I think Brady had mentioned in the broadcast that when against the Cowboys, that when you run an offense that quickly, it actually slows down a pass rush. So that's another weapon that comes with pace because you get these big linemen trying to rush over and over and over much quicker than they're used to. So I understand not having it, but I do think, let's say we're out of a timeout. I think it's nice to have, a handful of plays under center where you go, okay, cool, we'll start with this and then we'll go right back to, shotgun, RPO, etc. But the option would be quite nice is the way I think of it.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. We go to Jamal Bibi Sharbon. We shout out. On the business decision, I was disappointed that Lattimore did not put a hard hit on CeeDee Lamb. I like Lattimore because he likes to tackle and hit people hard. If he had made the hit on CD, he might have put both of them in the hospital. So I think that's what Jamal had said, business decision in the prior comment mailbag. And so I appreciate you, Jamal, for elaborating on what you meant by that. Just hit the guy.
Clarity. Yeah.
I think that's good clarity. Any thoughts there, K-Dot?
Yeah, just appreciate you clearing up what you thought.
Yeah. Let's go over to Martin Collins. Shout out. Glad Jayden injury is not too serious. Praying for a quick recovery time with 2 thumbs up there. A quick update. According to Ian Rappaport from NFL Network, it sounds like we are quite hopeful that this is just a 1-week injury. We've heard this about other players, and the next thing you know, they're on IR. So take it with a pinch of salt, a grain of salt, please. We'll see. But based on K-Dot, when they ruled him out as early as Wednesday, I did not think, the injury's bad. It ended up being exactly what Dan Quinn said, which was, we want to just avoid people saying, will he, won't he? Will he, won't he? And Jayden can't lobby because it's like, sorry, we already said you're out. So deal with it. Focus on your recovery. And let's look to Seattle ideally. That's the way I saw ruling him out quickly. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's bad. It was, we're not even entertaining you playing. You need to focus on recovery because we think you can be 100% come next week.
That was my fundamental. What did I save him from him?
Yep.
That's
what they did here. I was very proud of that choice.
Yeah, no, 100%. It doesn't. Plus, it doesn't give Marcus all the reps and let us know that this is what we're doing and just go, right? Yeah. Just go. I don't need to look. They already have entirely too many chemistry issues as far as the receivers and the quarterback goes. Let's not leave any room for any discount. Just go. Yeah, like I said, I'm not. Hamstring injuries are weird, but my thing is that if Jayden thinks he can go, he's going to want to go. And that's regardless of whether or not he should. And this is where I'm like, I am so happy they just took the decision out of his hands. That's what I want to see. Protect him from him. He's a baller. He's a competitor at the utmost degree. But sometimes you just got to sit your ass down.
Yeah, completely agreed there. And here's Martin Collins, who enjoyed one of your lines, K-Dot, played like shit against their shit, which is exactly what happened against the Cowboys last week. They just happened to have better personnel with all the receivers out, and they were able to blitz. They were able to stack the line. They brought the safety down like K-Dot talked about. And that was that. It was a very frustrating game. The last 2 games have been quite frustrating between the Cowboys and Bears, both winnable games that we dropped. Let's go to
remembering that Cowboy defense last week again. I'm so angry.
It wasn't good.
Suck.
Yeah, they're not good. And that's why I'm not worried about them. I know that now the national media is like, oh, Dak and all this.
It's that offense, man.
The offense is great, and I get it. And it could carry them to a certain point. But to your AFC West point, I like Denver this week to be able to just steamroll these guys because their defense is good, and then their offense is going to be able to do what they want against Dallas.
I mean, I had the AFC West basically sweeping us, but look, this is going to be a controversial statement, and I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. I think Jamar Chase is the second best receiver in the NFL. I do think that. Mm-hmm. I love T. Higgins. There is not a wide receiving core I'm picking over Dallas.
Ooh.
It's just the way that they complement.
Yeah, Pickens
The
has
way
been
that they
a much
complement.
better fit.
Dog.
I think CD being out.
I don't know
was
why
excellent.
anybody didn't think he was gonna be like. The moment it happened, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Well, so here's why I think it. Here's why I think it worked really well. And initially, I was like, "Oh, I don't think it'll work that well," is because I thought George was going to be. Remember week 1, where he just had his 3 catches and people were questioning his effort and stuff like that, and CD was the one that was feasting, right?
Yeah.
Once CD went out, I think that was so necessary for this to work, because then it was like Dak has to rely on George. Now they've got a connection. CD's back, but George knows he's got a connection with Dak now. And so now it works really, really well. I think without that, I think we see something slightly different. Maybe it still works, but I think it's very different. With it's just CD. George occasionally gets his, and then maybe you see a personal foul because he's frustrated that he's not the guy. He got to be the guy, and he's shown that he is more than capable.
To me, with the Pickens thing, has just been I've seen him play in Pittsburgh, and I've been following a lot of the stuff that was happening.
Extremely talented.
The quarterbacks, like non-existent. So, like the idea, what people don't understand, like the thing with CeeDee Lamb is that CeeDee Lamb's been asked in this offense to take since he's been here to take the top off the defense. He's so much more than that. Like you can line him up all over the field, and he requires you pay attention to him. Pickens is a cheat code downfield. Like he's an absolute cheat. He takes the top off a goddamn defense, especially if anyone. The idea that Dak can look at the safety and realize, like, oh, it's going to George. Like
yep.
It's going to George. I gotta, and that's one thing Dak can do. And like,
the catch radius is just ridiculous on the guy.
I'm just saying that's what I'm saying. The combination of those two guys together on the field, I just thought it was going to be a learning curve for Dak, and whether or not George Pickens was going to get angry about his targets or whatever. But the way I followed that was that Pittsburgh's weird for certain personality types, just weird. Mm-hmm. And Dallas, I think him, CD, I like that I think they get along. That room gets along. To me, it was just how long is it going to take Dak to learn what it is he can do with these guys, or Schottenheimer, what he can do with these guys. But to me, it's like the combination of those two, that is just deadly.
Yeah. Here's Martin Collins, who's got a little run of comments here, and then we'll get to some others.
Okay.
Martin goes, injuries are fucking up our defense also. I agree with y'all about adding speed to our defense by playing the second string guys or rookies. It can't hurt. And Jamal B. Sharp on we goes, yeah, all hands on deck. Use everyone, which I think is something that you and I are in agreement with, Kate. Not necessarily you're benching guys, but you're rotating. You're allowing more guys to be able to be a part of the defense, seeing what works, what doesn't, etc. Go ahead.
There was a point, I think I said it in the All-22. There was a point in time in which the idea of rotating Bobby Wagner out was, I can understand it, I could see it, but you don't want to do it. Because as far as a run defender, he's the best one you had. And if you look at early on in the season, what were we really good at compared to last year against the run? You look at that defensive line, you look at their ability to let the linebackers also plug those gaps and get what it is they need to get. The problem has been over the course of the last few weeks, that part of it has gotten worse. Mm-hmm. And like, so the reason you wanted to keep some of these guys on the field as often as you do is sort of, it's eroding. So if it's eroding and he still hasn't done the other stuff right, covering, and that shit goes back to last year if you want to be completely honest. So like now you have to. And now with Luvu, I understand what they were trying to do. I get it. You're trying to make him a more well-rounded player. I need him to kind of go back to the other shit.
I'm going to combine these two comments here from Martin. Okay. Here's the first one. We definitely need Terry back. Not to mention Deebo. And oh yeah, that guy, Noah. And of course, Noah's on IR, but it looks like Terry and Deebo are going to be back for this one. Here's the other one. Is it possible for us to beat the Chiefs? If so, we're going to be a real dangerous team. We've got to remember there's 10 games left. K-Dot, your reaction to the two comments.
We could beat the Chiefs. It's a steal. Do not. This team is too inconsistent for this to. This is I'm sorry, fan base, to you guys, you're too up and down. You guys are way too up and down. None of these games is going to be enough to tell you what it is going to happen the rest of the season, period. Because the moment Mariota leaves and Jayden comes back, different team. So like the stop, pump the brakes. You can steal one, but that's it.
Well, so I think this lends itself really nicely to Martin's next comment, which is another thing is about our fair weather fans. This is only year 2 with our new regime. We got spoiled with a surprise first year. Let's try to have perspective. We'll be all right. Which I think is speaking to what you're talking about, K-Dot. And K-Dot, something that, frankly, I think Martin's echoing on your behalf, because you have said this ad nauseum throughout the season and even before the season.
Y'all, it's PTSD, man. I don't understand. Y'all gotta chill the fuck out. We were in an NFC Championship game last year, and this team is beat the fuck up. Like, it's really hurting. We had all hands on deck last year. All hands on deck. And it was like, and they stayed uncharacteristically healthy throughout the course of the season. Yeah, we had some injuries here and there, but not enough, right? Your top 3 receivers were gone. Like, what are we talking about? Your top 3 DNs are gone. What are we talking about?
Yeah, no, totally agree. And I'll also say this, just going back to the idea of beating Kansas City. If we did it, regardless of the team consistency, the next 2 games, there's so much less pressure now. Like, the next 3 games are Kansas City, Seattle, and Detroit. You lose all 3, the season's over. You win 1, okay, you got a chance. You win 2, you're feeling pretty good. And you win all 3, oh my God, like, okay, who knows, right? Because then you go to not Miami, you go to Madrid to play Miami, who anyone would want to play Miami right now. They seem to be the worst. But yeah, you got to find a way to win 1. If you win this one right off the bat, I think you can actually breathe a little bit easier and go, okay, maybe we really do have something here. We go to Rennell Winchester, shout out. Bram Weinstein made the comment that the Commanders have become predictable to other teams and quarterbacks. I found that insightful. K-Dot, your reaction?
Yeah.
I agree. And Marcus, though, I do think has been running the offense a little bit better than Jayden so far in terms of the RPOs. That little boom bap, taking the shot is what we call it, which is also the layup, just taking the easy option or the open option.
What's
That's
open.
it.
That's the thing. So like the boom, here's the other thing. Boom bap, Mariota can't touch Jayden. He's not close to Jayden. When Jayden's on point.
When Jayden's doing it.
When Jayden's on point. The problem is Jayden, it just hasn't been there.
Let's have that conversation for a second. What changed? Right? Because last season, he did it with such remarkable consistency, it felt like we had a 10-year vet. It looks like if you were to swap last year and this year, that makes way more sense than what's currently going on. Right? Because it's like, okay, rookie year, he's holding on to the ball. He's taking a couple extra hits. He's not taking the easy option because he was a hotshot, quarterback at LSU. He just won the Heisman. So he's trying to take the shot downfield. For that to be year 2 and year 1 be, I'm the patient one, I'm learning, I'm like all this stuff, it just doesn't track in my head.
I think you're overthinking it because
I've been known to do that. Go ahead.
Rarely is progression in football linear. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason a sophomore slump is a thing that exists, right? So like
more of a myth than anything, but go ahead.
Probably, but I think in this particular case, here's the thing. I think a lot of things get attributed to a sophomore slump that aren't. That being said, I do think it does exist sometimes. It's not as often as people like to think it is, but it does happen. And my thing is that, like, if I'm looking at Jayden last year compared to this year, remember, I'm an intangibles guy. I like intangible. I like thinking about the mental aspect of all this shit. And, like, there is a part of me that thinks he was feeling himself.
I think that's fair. And I think that's human nature also. I think that makes
100%. Sense. So, like, I think that there's an element of that. And there's also this particular offseason when you're talking about the receivers and who it is that he had a relationship to and who it is he got the timing right with, that shit was off, right? So, like, that shit's off this year. And even he hasn't been healthy enough to stay consistent throughout everything, right? But we've had moments where he looks damn good. And remember, last year, he was still leaving meat on the bone. It was just he was doing it at a higher clip than he is right now. But I also think there's an element of hero ball that exists with some of these guys sometimes that you got to kind of get through. It happens with the best of them. Like, they do go through periods of time where it's like, hey, calm down. You don't need to get everything right there. Look at Josh Allen, man. Josh Allen went up and down, up and down. Well, shit, Josh Allen started down. And then he went up. And then there was that period of time where it's like, dude, stop trying to do everything. You don't have to do everything. And then it's like, oh, all right, well, I guess I can lean on the run game. I can do this. I can do maybe. Mahomes. Look, he won a Super Bowl with this, so you can't really take anything away from him. But the idea is that the motherfucker didn't know how to read defense's problem. We just lobbing it up to Tyreek Hill. Then you have to see him like, all right, well, I got to have a more well-balanced, more well-rounded game. I need to figure out how to do this, how to do that. I can still do the special shit, which is what he's doing right now, right? But he still also can play within the structure of the offense. Like, Jayden's a special player. He's special. And with that's going to have a mental challenges and pressures and expectations and all sorts of stuff. And at the end of the day, as much as I think he's a psychopath, he's still a human. And that's going
Which
to
you wanted to see this year. You're like, I just want to see this human.
Hey, struggle. Hey, because what is my favorite Jayden Daniels intangible?
Oh, I actually don't know. Go ahead.
Learning from mistakes. Like, that to me has been.
He was doing that at a remarkable rate last season.
That to me has been the absolute mantra of this team. It's the reason I wanted Dan Quinn. It's the reason I like Jayden Daniels. I like this idea. I like some of the old guys on here that have been written off in certain places. Like, that's who we are. It's just the energy level hasn't been there. And even looking at Jayden, look, his mentality, even from what I'm seeing on the sideline and in the game, it's been spotty. The smiles have been spotty. And I get it. We're not winning at the same clip, but it's just, it feels different right now.
And I'll put his, I know we're spending a lot of time on this comment, but it's important. It's Jayden. It's the franchise. Like, it's important to do this. I'll put his performances into context. So the first game against the New York Giants, we end up winning 21-6, bit of a slow start, but it's his first time with Deebo. Deebo and Terry are finally on the field together. There's no training camp with both of them there at the same time. We get the job done, and we know that we can improve. Then it's a quick Thursday night road game against Green Bay. We're riding an unbelievable high. And yeah, it's a bad game, but that can happen, right? It's a short road game against a really good team at that time, who were 4-1-1, by the way. Then you look at the Raiders game, which he didn't play, and the Falcons game didn't play. Chargers, he looked good after initially a bit of a slow start. He looks good there. The Bears game is admittedly bad, and he still threw 3 touchdowns. And then you got the Cowboys game where he literally had nothing to work with, and you could tell from the throws, he's expecting Chris Moore to be somewhere. He's not there. Right. He's expecting Zach Ertz to turn a little bit higher. He turns shorter. It goes over. Zach Ertz drops a couple. Jayden misses a couple. It just happens. So, like, just putting that all into context as well, which is that it's not necessarily as bad as people are talking about. There's some ups and downs that it was really just ups the whole time last season. That's it.
Not as much complimentary football,
right?
Not as much this. You look at like what you saw in that Giants game. What we thought the rushing attack was going to look like in that Giants game is very different than what the rushing attack looks like now. Like, Austin Eckler's not here. Deebo Samuel, we've had to rely on him being an absolute outside receiver because Terry's not here. So the Deebo element, as far as what we really want from Deebo, hasn't been there. There's a chance with Deebo and Terry getting back in the fold that we get to see more of what Jayden is, what he can do. So, like, it's not the throw. I want to see this dude respond to adversity. It's what I've always been waiting for, is the moment where he has some bad times. I just want to see him learn from these mistakes a little quicker than he's doing. I'm being a little more impatient than I probably should be. Yeah.
And again, eight passing touchdowns to 1 interception. I mean, he's doing all right. He's doing all right for a sophomore year. There's just expectations are higher. That's all. No. We go to Coach Lombard. Shout out. I need to take an L too. I was wrong about Frankie Louvu. He seems much better off ball. What does the tape say? Okay, you get a little bit of time here to talk about Frankie a bit more.
Yeah, man. Frankie has shown some spots where Frankie's doing decently. It's just some of the mistakes are so glaring. And we're not able to see what is truly special, which is that reckless abandon. But he's playing some sound football overall. Like, from a coverage standpoint, he's better graded than a lot of the guys. When it comes to the rushing team, he's missing some tackles that he doesn't usually miss because he's so worried about being in the right position compared to the wrong position. But, like, Dude can ball. I just right now with the defense needs from him is why I understand the long-term development of like, I think that they circled Luvu as like the guy that they want like going forward. But with the injuries to the D line and our lack of pass rush, unless you generate that right now, you're not going to be able to do anything. So like that to me is where I think we need to start focusing in more on Luvu.
I agree. We go to Cedric Moore before closing out with Coach's final comment. Cedric Moore, shout out. Why would you do a lot of audibles when you have guys off the street? So this was something that K-Dot had mentioned, like, Jayden has the freedom and liberty to be able to change the play on the line. I did think this was a good comment, though, K-Dot. What were your thoughts?
No, it's an absolutely valid comment. I think what we're doing is there's two angles to this, right? Mm-hmm. There's the audibling out of a run. If there's so many new guys, I mean, like I said, watching the All-22, the guys are just running wrong routes, right? So like the expectation that they're also going to, that Chris Moore or Robbie Chosen is going to know what to do in those situations, probably not a great idea. I will 100% get that. But the other component is that RPO thing, which is the RPO, and the choice in the RPO is the wrong choice being made. It's two different things, right? It's audibling, and then also what option are you choosing? I think both are being done wrong.
And then we go to Coach, who goes, when you say quarters, do you mean 4 or 4 match?
4 match.
Typically, 4 match. Okay. Typically in Tampa 2, it's the middle linebacker that runs the pole, and Wagner and Luvu are downhill only dudes. Putting Medrano in on Tampa snaps is a tell, but he might actually be good at running the seam. Get out your thoughts on that.
I'd agree with that. And the thing with the Tampa 2 is we invert it. So a lot of times it's not necessarily always the middle linebacker that does it. It's going to be sometimes it's safety, as I've talked about some of the, like, especially early on in the season, Will Harris was fucking that up. Quan Martin kind of fucks it up. Jeremy Reeves. There's that. So sometimes it's either that or the nickel corner can sometimes be the guy that carries up the seam. It changes just depending on the personnel type. But in my opinion, right now, the Tampa 2 thing should be, I get it's a tell. I do get it's a tell, but I also think it shouldn't be something we go to as often as we do. I actually think right now we're looking at like base defense, the cover 4 and match 4 quarters is what needs to kind of happen. Not old school quarters. It's not just pure like zone corner as much as you're following what it is the receiver's route's doing. Like it's kind of a hybrid thing. I just think that like what we're telegraphing right now defensively, as far as some of the stuff with Bobby Wagner on blitzing compared to the Wagner Luvu thing, it's just Wagner at this point. They could spice some things up, but then we get into what's simple and what's hard for this defense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was the comment mailbag. This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to our preview episode, our predictions, and the comment mailbag. And if you enjoyed the episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Monday night, if you guys want to see something crazy, make sure you tune into our live, because it's probably gonna be like 2:00 in the morning, and this dude over here is going to be a mess. Okay, if this game,
I'll be fine. I predicted a 14-point win for Kansas City.
All right, just here's what on record we are going. Oh shit, did I pause? Okay, all right. On record, I froze on my end. All right, we are going live. We're not doing a Tuesday morning. We're going live, regardless of outcome, regardless of substance intake, all of it. We are going live.
We're going live.
Right. And then share this shit. And also, fuck Trump. I'm sorry.
Share this shit. We greatly appreciate you guys.
The East Wing, you piece of shit. What are you doing?
And then we'll see you live after the game against Kansas City, regardless of outcome, regardless of how bad it is or how great it is. Who knows? Marcus Mariota, audition for a new team.
If we win, Clarendon, please.
We'll see you guys.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.